Hey everybody, John Michael Bailey Injury Lawyers. Today we're going to be talking about an angle collision and what kind of injuries you can expect to receive from that kind of a collision, how they can affect you today, and how they can affect you for the rest of your life, and most importantly, what that insurance adjuster doesn't want you to know. So let's get right into it. Let me start by saying my name is John Michael Bailey. I'm with John Michael Bailey Injury Lawyers. I've been practicing law for over 45 years. I'm a lawyer. I'm a good lawyer, but I'm not your lawyer, and I won't be your lawyer unless you hire us. And you can do that and begin that process by following this link right here. Or if you're the impatient type like I am, you can pick up that phone right now and call me at 888-WE-FIGHT. Our phones are answered 24/7, 365. We never close. Our motto is, if you're hurting, we're working. So if you have questions, you can either leave them in the comments, you can send us an email, smoke signal, pick up the phone and call us. We'd love to hear from you. If you want us to handle your case for you, we'll be more than happy to look at it and tell you what we think we can do to help you. So again, this is informational. It is not legal advice, and I am not your lawyer, but I'd love to look at your case. So pick up that phone and call me now, 888-WE-FIGHT. Now, what are we talking about today? So we're talking about the type of collision. This is an angle collision. It comes between the front wheel well right here. That's your wheel well. It's part of the front fender and your front bumper. And it's kind of like right up here in that little angled area of the car. Now, what you got to understand is the force from this car, in addition to the force from this car, is going to have a force and an impact that's going to cause you injury. We call that the mechanism of injury. We're very big at John Michael Bailey Injury Lawyers in understanding what the mechanism of injury is. So once we understand what the mechanism of injury is, we can then look for the injuries that you may not associate with the trauma that you got in the accident. That's what we're going to be talking about today. So let's start with, and it doesn't really matter if it's on this side or on this side. If you're on this side of the car, I'll go over the same injuries. They're going to be mirrored image on this side, but I'll show you what I'm talking about. So in this type of collision right here, the first thing that's going to happen if you're the driver and you're hit from here is your body is going to twist and go like that. So what's going to happen, let's start with our shoulder right here. Looking from behind, if you're the right-hand driver, well, let's just do it like this, makes more sense. This is actually the passenger side, but follow along with me. The shoulder strap is going to come right across here. So it's going to come right across here like this. And when you're hit like this, you're going to go through two distinct motions. You're going to go back like that into your headrest, but maybe not all the way into your headrest. Your head could snap back like that, and your body is going to twist over like that. What is that going to affect? Well, that strap right there, this right here, is these are the processes of the ligaments and the tendons that make your shoulder joint work like God intended us to. And what's going to happen is you're going to have impact trauma, direct impact trauma injuries to the processes of your shoulder. What does that mean? Well, let me break it down for you. We're talking about a rotator cuff injury. Insurance adjusters hate to hear about this because it's an injury that's slow to heal. It can last a lifetime, and they don't want to pay for it. So they are never, ever, ever going to tell you, check yourself for a rotator cuff injury. No adjuster is going to tell you that, but John Michael Bailey is telling you that right now. So check yourself for that on this shoulder if you're driving. If you're the passenger over here, what's going to happen is even more dangerous because you're going to have the same type of go back like that, but the shoulder here, it's not restrained. So that shoulder will go into this process, or this thing right here called the B pillar, and your head will likely hit this glass. Why is that dangerous? Let's get into that. So let's look at the cervical spine. So you're the driver, right? And so you're going to go back and go like this. Well, look what happens is your spine stretches and turns and goes like this. All of this right here indicates a tearing and a stretching of your ligaments. Now, in medical records, they often call that ligament laxity. They often call that hypermobility. I call it, and a lot of lay people call it, ligament laxity. What that means is your ligaments and your tendons are stretched and they never, ever, ever, ever go back to where they were, ever. It is a permanent injury. It is a lifetime injury, and you are entitled to a lifetime of compensation. If you've got some years on you, like I do, this will make you far more prone to develop arthritis in this area. And everybody knows once you get a little age on you, that arthritis, I don't want to say it's a pain in the neck, but you and I both know that's exactly what it is. Now, what else can happen when this goes on is you can suffer disc impingement. Now, what does that mean? The disc impingement injuries are the injuries that stop the brain from being able to send the signals that God intended the brain to send down to our muscles and to the other processes, to the other processes of our bodies to make sure that our body works like God intended us to. Now, our spinal cord is made up of bone. That's this stuff right here, just hard bone. But these vertebrae are separated by little jelly-filled donuts. That's what they are. And that's called your disc. And the material inside your disc is called the nucleus pulposa, okay? In medical records, if there's a disc injury or a disc herniation, you'll see the initials HNP, herniated nucleus pulposa. What that means is that there has been a rupture in this. You can tell it moves. You see this little front part right along here. I hope this is picking this up where it sticks out more than it's supposed to. That can be called a bulge, okay? Insurance adjusters will tell you that bulges don't hurt. Those insurance adjusters are liars. Particularly the older that we get, these bulges hurt more and more and more. And this is really important. If you had a history of bulging discs, but you didn't hurt, and then after that wreck, you did hurt, that's called exacerbation. And yes, you are entitled to compensation for that. And don't let an insurance adjuster try to cheat you out of what you rightfully deserve. Don't do that to yourself. You deserve better and your family deserves better. What you need is a trauma-trained law firm who will find out and understand the mechanism of the injury. And that way we will be able to trace where you need to look for your injuries that you may not associate as having happened with that trauma. In really, really bad cases, what we can see here is we can see, I hope that picks up, that is called a protrusion, and that will hit right there on that nerve root, and that will cause you untold problems. I'll get into a little bit of those later. There's also one that I can't really show you on the interior. These are your nerves right here running down through the spinal cord is in here, and the interior of the spinal cord can also, your spinal cord right there, it can also go up against that if there is a herniation. Now, herniation means all of this has escaped, and so there is no cushion. You can develop bone on bone, which is extraordinarily painful. And if you have the type of injury where the pulposa actually leaves the disc, what they have to do is they have to take the bone from a cadaver, yes, a dead person, and they put that inside in between these two things, and they it's called a fusion, and they fuse these together. That means you will never go back to being the same. That is a permanent injury. You're entitled to a lifetime compensation for that, but no adjuster will ever tell you that. John Michael Bailey is telling you that right here, right now. You need to if you don't stand up and fight for what you rightfully deserve, you're never, ever going to get it, especially not from an insurance company. All they want to do is take money and keep it. Now, let's go into the skull. And the reason I'm bringing this up is there's two types of movement that you're going to go through. And you're going to go back like this and twist. Then you're going to come forward again. And when you come forward again, because of inertia, that's another part of the physics of all this and part of the mechanism of injury. If you're the driver, you could either hit your head on the driver's side glass, more likely, because now at this point, you're going to be turning like this, coming back around. Your shoulder can slip out of that restraint, and your head can hit The steering wheel, also very, very important, because this is a front end collision right here. The airbag sensor might be impacted. And if that airbag sensor is impacted, your airbag is going to pop out. Now, what a lot of people don't understand is that's not by magic, but there's actually a shotgun shell propellant that shoots that airbag out. And yes, it's designed to save our lives, but it can also cause problems and hurt. And so what can happen, let's say if you're the driver, is you can be hit right here in the face with that airbag, and that can cause all kinds of things: a broken nose, temporal mandibular joint disorders. Your joint right here is the most used joint in the human body. You do it, you move your joint every time you talk, you breathe, you chew. And if something goes wrong with this, you're going to know about it fast. And it can cause all kinds of problems, headaches all the way up through here, neck aches. It can truly make your life miserable. Second, it can break your nose, and it can impact your sinuses all the way through here, up to and including your inner ear processes that can cause tinnitus and problems with balance. So all of these things you need to look for. It can cause a concussion. Listen, a concussion is a brain injury, period, paragraph. No adjuster will ever tell you that. They're going to tell you to lay down. It'll go away in a few days. They might even tell you take an ibuprofen. If they do tell you that, they're trying to kill you, because ibuprofen defeats the coagulation ability of the blood. And if you have a brain bleed, it'll make it worse. Don't take medical advice from any adjuster. We need to get you, if you've had this and you contact us, we will get you to trauma-trained medical personnel who understand trauma, understand traumatic injuries, and will get you the treatment that you deserve. But let's take it a step further. The way that our brains are made, this is our skull, this is our brain. They're prone to brain bleeds because all the way inside here, this is a very, very rough and ragged surface. And what can happen in these kind of whiplash back and forth injuries is this. The top part of the brain will move back and forth, and the bottom part of the brain will stay here in this cup-like structure, because that's how it's made. Our human brain actually comes down to right below the nose. And if you'll see, it sits in here inside this little area right here. And what happens is this part of the brain will then shift back and forth. Well, when that happens, it tears all of these microcapillaries and causes brain bleeds. The brain bleeds are very serious, because once the human body starts reabsorbing that blood that has been leaking out, then when the body does reabsorb that, it leaves holes in your brain like Swiss cheese. Yes, I said holes. That's what happens. And so this can cause you all kinds of problems, up to and including neurological deficits. So you need to watch for this stuff too. Finally, our knees right here are supposed to work like this. This little area right here is called your patella. Let me move this up so the overhead can pick it up. It's called the patella. That's actually your kneecap. And if it impacts the dash, or it impacts the back of the front seat, if you're in the back, it can cause all the processes within your knee to not work like they're supposed to. So all of these things you need to be looking for. Now, once we experience all of this bending and twisting and everything that's going on, and this type of an impact, one of the things you need to realize is if you have disc impingement issues, right, like we've been talking about, if they're up here in the cervical part of your neck, it's going to be up here in the top part of your body. If they are down here, it could either be in the lumbar or sacral area. That's going to show up as numbness and tingling running down your rear end, your buttocks, or down your legs. Can feel like numbness, tingling. Can feel like somebody's running electricity through it, and it can cause things like paralysis if it's that bad. If it's a direct impact and hits in here in the thoracic area, that's how people become paraplegic, because that affects so much stuff. But it can cause everything from extreme back pain, numbness. It can cause you to have what's called foot drop, where your feet don't work like they're supposed to, and all of a sudden you start finding yourself tripping when you're walking down the street. It can also cause problems in the bedroom, and you could even lose control of your bowels. It's what we call incontinence, which means suddenly you'll find yourself going to the bathroom on yourself, which is very, very embarrassing. But all of these things are the types of injuries that can occur from this type of collision. So if you find yourself the victim of this type of collision, don't just expect the insurance industry to treat you right. They're not going to do that. They're going to tell you you don't need a lawyer. But you know what? Their own insurance industry statistics will show and state that if you get a lawyer on your side, you get 3.5 times more money than somebody that doesn't. But they're never going to tell you that. So I'm telling you that right now. So at John Michael Bailey Injury Lawyers, we are fanatics about understanding and finding, obtaining, and preserving the evidence of the mechanism of injury. And when we do that, once we can prove the mechanism of injury, we can follow the force that went into your body. Because remember, that force had to go somewhere, and it goes into your body and causes traumatic injury. Then we know where to look for the injuries that you may not associate and that the adjuster will never tell you to look for, to make sure that you get all the necessary treatment that you need, and so that you are taken care of appropriately, and that you get the compensation that you truly deserve. Don't let that adjuster cheat you out of what you deserve and your family deserves. Don't do that to yourself. Don't let him get a bonus for taking money out of your pocket and keeping it for his company. Stand up and fight for everything that you're entitled to. You can do it if you want to, but let me tell you something. They're trained to cheat you. You need somebody who can go toe-to-toe and stand up for you. And that's what we do very proudly at John Michael Bailey Injury Lawyers. So let me close by saying I hope you found this informational. We're here on YouTube. We're not selling anything. We're giving this information away. Please help us spread the word. We understand that there's a grumpy old man that works for YouTube. His name is Mr. Algorithm. He gets up every morning mad at the world, and he goes to bed every night mad at the world. We're doing everything we can to make him happy. We understand that he's got an equally grumpy girlfriend. Her name is Miss Analytics, and she's just as grumpy as Mr. Algorithm. So please help us keep both of those happy by like, subscribe, give us thumbs up, leave us comments. We'd love to hear from you. You got any questions or anything, happy to answer them. If you want us to handle your case, we'd be more than pleased to do that. And you can begin that process by following this link here. Or again, if you're the impatient type, you can pick up the phone and call me now at 888-WE-FIGHT. We answer our phones 24/7, 365. We never close. Finally, I'll say this. If you can hear my voice, I wish you peace and joy. And as always, I hope to talk to everybody real soon. 888-WE-FIGHT.